Okay, let's talk about an angle. Guys, with your hands, make an angle for me. Yes, 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 yes. We know what an angle is, so let's draw a picture. Let's be really careful about it. So an angle always has a vertex. That's where it starts. And then it has a ray going one way. We've talked about rays. And a ray going another way. There you go. There's an angle. We're just adding in our vocab words that we've practiced. Okay, now hold up 4 fingers and wiggle them. There are 4 ways you can name an angle, but we need to add stuff to this picture. So I'm going to change up the colors. So on your picture, will you make sure you're doing the same that I am so that all our names can be the same? Let's call this vertex point A. So this angle's name could be angle A. So that little crocodile sign, the inequality sign, that means angle. So angle A is 1 out of the 4 ways to name it. Sometimes you'll see an angle and I'll have a little number in here like 3. Now 3, is that saying this angle is 3 degrees? No, and that's pretty ridiculous, right? Because that would be like this big, teeny tiny. So you could call this angle 3. Remember that symbol just stands for angle. Or, if we had points on those rays, we can start naming them. Let's call this one up here B, and this one down here C. Now there's a specific way to name an angle. Naming it with 3 letters is the best way. It's very specific, tells us where to go. You can call this angle BAC or angle CAB. But you cannot call it ABC. Do you see a pattern between that angle BAC and the angle CAB? Something has to happen when you name an angle. Have you noticed anything? James, what'd you notice?
With like the B, it'll go to BAC. It starts at the top.
Uh-huh.
The vertex goes to the bottom.
Perfect.
And follow it, and then CAB starts at the bottom and goes up.
Nicely done, James. James said with BAC it starts at B and then it traces out to C, and then vice versa, it starts at C, goes back to B. Totally works. Guys, what's in the middle on both of these? Hey, the vertex. Good job. Way to use that vocab word. Always the vertex has to be in the middle, so be careful with that. Okay, here we go. Sides of an angle. I would just circle this. Sides of an angle are always rays. Now, if you ever have an assignment or a test question that says, name the sides of the angle, let's name them. First, what if it said name the vertex? What's the vertex in our picture? Done, so you just put capital A. And then if it says name the sides of the angle, you would just call those rays. So this would be ray, BA. But where does the arrow go? Above the B or the A? The B. And then the other one would be ray, how about AC? But where does the arrow go? Above the C. I'm pretty sure that's on your assignment today. It'll say name the vertex and then name the 2 sides of the angle. Easy enough, right? Name them as rays. Vertex of an angle, I would just write this part of my notes. It's the initial point. We've already talked about that. Congruent angles. We talked about congruent. I told you it's going to come up. It'll keep coming up. Just remember that congruent means same measure. So if Garrison has a 90-degree angle in his hand, and over here Alec has a 90-degree angle in his hand, they have congruent angles because they are literally the exact same measure. They are congruent. Okay, the next part, I'm begging you, don't write that down. We're going to use protractors to play around with that, measuring an angle. But I do want you to write this part down. Are you ready? Sometimes you will see a little m and then crocodile sign ABC. Geometry is all about shortcutting stuff and notations. What do you think that little baby m means? You can shout it out, guys. Yeah, that means measure. What does this symbol mean? Angle. Yes, it means less than, but in geometry we're going to call it angle for this section. So that just says what's the measure of angle ABC you can measure out with a protractor. Okay, any questions on this part of the vocab? Are you okay to keep going? All right, let's keep going. Interior, again, all this. If it was my notes, I would just remind myself that interior means inside. An interior designer designs the inside of something. And then let's draw a really fun picture real fast. So draw yourself an angle. Give it an initial point, an array, an array. Okay, can you just shade in the interior of that angle? Do you know what that would mean? So interior of this would be right there. Interior. Inside. It's like inside the crocodile's mouth. Interior. Okay, same thing for exterior. Just write yourself anything on the outside of an angle. So I'm going to use the same angle and just color. There we go. That is outside, so that's exterior. Okay, acute angle. Make an angle with your hand or hands that is acute. Let me see. Yeah, they're little guys, right? So on your notes, just remind yourself it has to be between 0 and 90 degrees, 0 and 90 degrees, and then just sketch one real quick. That is definitely acute. Okay, next one with your hand or hands or arms, make a right angle. Let me see. Oh, I like it. Yeah, right? Here we go. Draw yourself a picture. So this one is 90 degrees. Make sure on your notes you have 90 degrees. But in geometry, they'll give you a picture. There's usually a symbol attached to that picture. Have you seen it before? Do you know what it is, Kelsey? Yeah, perfect. A little box in the corner. Bam. Watch for that. That means it's 90 degrees. It's like a trust us. It's really 90 degrees. Okay, obtuse. Let me see with your arms. Make obtuse. You guys ever seen that Baby Jaw song? I always think of that one. They do it in 2 singles. All right, so that's between 90 and 180. So nice, big, wide open angle. Okay, straight angle. Let me see your arms. Make a straight angle. Stretch it out. Move those bodies. Totally, because we are going to use this one so often. That might sound a little bit ridiculous. So make sure you know that it's 180. There we go. There's a straight angle. Every single line in geometry, we're going to trust that it's 180 and we're going to use that to our advantage. So every time you see a line, just remember 180, 180, 180. Hopefully that flashes in your head. Okay, adjacent angles. Let's use our hands to describe this one. With adjacent angles, make an acute angle with one hand. Make an acute angle with the other hand. Okay, separate like this. Let me come a little further. Can't hold my mic, can't talk. Okay, so like this, separate angles, non-adjacent. If you make a bird like this, adjacent. We're going to tweak it a little bit. So this, adjacent or non-adjacent? So these 2 angles are non-adjacent, but if they're right next to each other like this, kind of making a bird, are they adjacent? Okay, let's draw a picture of that. Let me move this board. So, I think adjacent is a neighbor, someone right next to you. However, neighbors share fences. So you've got your vertex. In adjacent angles, they have to share this. And then they have to share one of the rays. So again, I think of neighbors because they share a fence. So off of this vertex and this ray, I'm going to use the yellow. There's an angle. So kind of up and above. Now I'm going to make a separate angle. I'm going to trace it. So it's using this. And then let me use, I think black will work over here. So off of this vertex, I could go this way. I'll make another angle right there. Those are adjacent angles. Does that make more sense? See how they're sharing the vertex, and they have to be sharing a ray? They have to be sharing something. Kelsey, question? Did it have to be acute? No, that is a fantastic question. No, as long as they are sharing a vertex and a ray, whatever type of angle, they can be adjacent. Great question. Okay, thumbs up, hazy sideways. How you feeling about adjacent? Does that make sense? Let me see. Okay, perfect. Let's keep going. This one, name the angles in the figure. There are 3 different angles. This one, hold 3 fingers and wiggle them. This would be one where you've got an angle with 3 letters. How come? Look, if I put angle L, is that a little bit confusing? Because it could be this one, it could be this one, it could be the bottom one. You got to use 3 on this one. Okay, go. Try it on your own real quick. Okay, hand in the air. Can you give me one angle in there? And will you name a 3? Colton, thanks.
LJK.
LJK. Pause. I agree that we can use J, L, and K, but we couldn't say LJK.
Oh, okay.
How come, Colton? Watch. If you trace it, let me change up the colors.
Oh,
It says
yeah.
start at L, go to J, and then K. It's a different angle. So use those letters, but change the order of it. you want to try again?
MLK.
MLK would totally work. Guys, on your notes, make sure you're putting that crocodile sign for angle. So angle MLK. And I can use Colton's and just go backwards. That's the same thing as KLM. How many of you figured that out? Forwards, backwards, that's the same angle. Yeah? All right, can I get another person? Will you raise your hand and tell me another angle in this picture? Anything? JLM, good one. Guys, what kind of angle is JLM? Classify it. Straight. And I can go backwards. MLJ. All right, so which one are we missing? Can I get a hand in the air? What have we left out? Kelsey, go ahead. JLM. Wait, check. We just did that one, right? Perfect. KLJ. So then we go backwards, angle J. I wrote KLJ and then I said J. Okay, sorry, that was confusing. There we go. How many got all of those? All 6 of them? You okay? Did you move on to this? Number 1, write 2 names for the angle. Can I get a hand in the air? Tell me how you name this. Lauren, thanks.
It's bigger than 90 degrees, so it's obtuse.
Totally. So that would be classifying. So classifying it would be obtuse. Naming it, you can come up with 2. There's actually 3 ways to name this one. Desi, or sorry, not Desi. Abigail? Perfect. Angle JKL would totally work. Okay, we need another one. Because we have a shortcut it. Ali, what are you thinking? Angle K would totally work. Do you guys agree that angle K would work on this picture? There's nothing else coming off K, so you'd be okay with that one. Alright, so same thing on this way side. If you're going to name it, you could say angle R. You could say angle QRP. Just make sure that R, the vertex, is in the middle of it. Okay. Alright, are you ready to jump around a little bit? This first part, let's talk about the protractor. Don't worry about filling in this part of it. Let's just talk really quick. So here's your angle. The biggest thing about protractors is students forget to make sure this is lined up. You line up that bottom side of the protractor with one of the rays on your angle. Yeah. So make sure that's lined up. Another thing that students forget, you've got to make sure that this middle part of the protractor is lined up with the vertex. Some protractors have like a hole, a circle there, so you can see through and see it. The ones I'm going to pass out just have like a line on it, like a plus sign. So make sure that's lined up perfectly. So you line it up, you've got it lined up, you've got it on the vertex, and then you come up here. I'm just going to shortcut this. Maybe this says 70 and 110. For some reason, this really throws students off. Which one is more logical for that pink angle, 70 or 110? 110 because it's obtuse, right? So why the crap is 70 on the protractor? Do you know why that's up there? Ellie, how come? Yeah, you could flip it over. Or what if the angle is coming this way? Then you can measure it from there and know it's a Q. Yeah. Okay, so protractors. Let me see again. How many of you confident with the protractor? All right, perfect. Angle addition, segment addition, posture, pin, break in the class. Microphone, right? Angle addition, posture is the same thing, but it's kind of weird to think about breaking an angle and putting it back together. So I think you guys will pick this up quick. So you've got this big angle. This big angle is made up of this purple piece and this green piece. Does that make sense? So it's 2 things added together, but it's weird to think of breaking an angle. So let's skip this one. Can you find? So skip a page. Yeah, top of that page. Okay, let's review. What does this little M stand for? Measure of angle ABC. I don't know about you, but I love to draw and stuff, so I always trace it. So we've got to find that whole angle. How are you going to find that whole angle? What are you going to add together? That's it. 50 and what? There you go. You just used the angle addition postulate, solve for it, and you got 130 degrees. Yeah? Angle addition postulate, not too bad. Okay, but when you jump to number 4, it's kind of tricky, hopefully not insanely tricky. So we're trying to find HLK. I always trace it so I know what's going on. So we're looking for that piece. Well, what kind of angle is this? Because there's a symbol on it. You can shout it out, guys.
Right.
It's a right angle. What is a right angle always equal?
90.
Perfect. So this is 90 degrees because of this right there. So if the whole thing is 90, this piece is 30, what are you going to do with the 90 and the 30? There you go. Guys, you are using the angle addition postulate. 90 minus 30, that angle. Yeah. Okay. Too fast? All right, next one, guys. You don't really need to try this. Let's just do it. Angle is number 5. 6. 7. 8. Okay, you're fine with those. Check. However, I do need to remind you, you say those when you're classifying. When it says classify, that's when you say acute, obtuse, right, straight. If it says name, that's when you say angle K, angle J, KL, or whatever. So that's classify. This one, can you pop points real quick? Go for it. Pop those points. I'll do it on the board. You do it with me. Okay, you ready? Look at the board. How many of you have the same thing as me? Did you trace it out okay? Because it says start at P, then R, then go to S. What the heck is Q doing then? Q on assignment might be this type of question. Is Q on the interior of that angle or the exterior? Exterior, there you go. So I don't have my protractor up on my toolbar yet, so I'm just going to draw a ghetto protractor. So you would line it up like right there-ish. Yeah, so I've lined up a bottom part of the ray. Make sure this is in the center. And then check out these numbers. Yeah? We'll go for it. Okay, let's stop with our notes.